Umian is plowing with his Massey Ferguson 135. Why should I be different? Why are you giving me second-class technology? So these are the kinds of arguments which we have to deal with. And as you can see, structure for the catchment management level. We haven't created those positions. We don't know what to name them. What would you call them? What would you call them? Would you call them local government specialists? Communications? What do you call them? And water, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very sensitive topic. People will fight for water. Electricity you can cut and go as you please, but not water. So we need to keep this in mind. Sorry, my slides are just much too busy. Colleagues, take note. I used to be a lecturer, so I tend to teach. Here we're trying to unpack what goes into the water boards. What set of activities do water boards undertake? And from there, you begin to get an idea of the complexity of the sets of skills which you need. It is not cut and dry, ladies and gentlemen. And we are struggling because we're not getting these skills. We're struggling also because there is insufficient vision in terms of describing what skills are needed. I think I will soon quickly hand over to my colleagues for them to tell you about the project and how they have undergone a skills audit to try and establish what sort of skills do we need. Here are some of the emerging job and occupational clusters that we are finding. We've got something called the water liaison specialist. I think that's the guy who has to go and talk to the angry community and get them to appreciate borehole water. We have broken these emerging classes up as a result of research which we have done, but my colleagues will come forward and present it. Lastly from me, here's a picture of what we look like as Department of Water and Sanitation. Out of nearly 4,000 people, we have hardly 218 engineers for a system of water as large as South Africa's. Look at our science complement. We don't have these people. Now, you can tell this was done by somebody who is technical, next to classify other. As long as it's not a scientist or engineer, you are other. There's no breaking down there. But this is too thin. Because remember, these numbers are reflecting not just national office, they are reflecting the provinces as well. Now, something contentious. We often hear about students with qualifications in engineering and technology who are languishing at home and not being employed. How does that happen when you've got a situation like this? That happens because there is something, I don't know what the technical name is. It was like apprenticeship. What's the correct name? Internship. You have to find somebody who's going to put you through a program of internship and mentor you. It's not happening. I know I'll be shot down for this afterwards, fine. The truth is not happening in the way that it should be happening. And what I want you to consider, The resource of water is so precious. Can we allow this kind of a gap to remain? Last century, the then Department of Water Affairs, during the 50s, I believe, maybe this gentleman can remember the time, there was what they called Bottas Babes. There was a drive by the then Minister of Water to recruit as many people and train them as engineers as was possible. Maybe we need to do something like that. The complexity of the situation which we are facing does not allow for complacency. We heard this wonderful word, desalination. Do you know what it costs to run a desalination plant? Do you know the ecological hazards of running a desalination plant? What do you do with all that brine? How do you dispose of it? We have to have people who understand this. Your energy sector is saying, let's frack in the Karoo. Oh, sorry, am I being... Should I keep quiet? Who's going to monitor that? Where is the knowledge for monitoring fracking which has not been done in South Africa going to come from? Inter-basin transfers. We've done the Lesotho Highlands, but our people aren't aware of what the cost of that water is. Water is too undervalued and underpriced in South Africa. Now we're talking of getting water from the Zambezi. How much is that water going to cost? I think I'm getting... Ladies and gentlemen, that was my small contribution to the matter, and I hope I'll be able to be with you today and tomorrow to hear. My last thought, there's a gentleman or lady, I believe, from the CSIR who's going to be talking about changing human perceptions. Is that? HSRC, sorry. I would really want to be part of that. Because the day you can convince my grandmother, not my grandmother, my mother, to use recycled water that came out of the toilet, I will take off my hat to you. Thanks, I'll hand over.